Okay, here we are. I don't know if I should smile when I say Parsha Korach because it has to do with Machloket, but still I'm smiling because I'm smiling because there's just such beautiful Torah here. So this Parsha spoke so much to me, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, okay, here I am reading the Parsha, and I'm reading it through the lens of a woman. And I look at the Mefarshim, and I look at the Mefarshim, and I'm also looking at them through the lens of a woman. And so this is the Torah of a woman. I can tell you, it's going to come from the Torah of my mind of a woman. So therefore, why am I saying that? Because it's not coming from this place of like, oh, maybe this is exactly, the way Rashi's looking at this Parsha. But I am telling you that I think this is going to be a woman's interpretation of Parsha Korach. So here we go. We have Korach, and I'll tell you something. This week I was in a class, okay? I'm in this course, and the course is one that you walk in and your head is like spinning, and how much you realize you have to work on yourself. And you go home and you think about it, and then like maybe 2 days later, you forget already. Like a lot of the courses and classes that we do for self-improvement and self-development, Musar, Midot, parenting, Shalom Bayit, all these things we walk into and we listen to something, and something, for some reason, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to us, okay, this is what you have to hear today. And then like 2 days later, it's like really hard to keep the momentum of inspiration, and people are constantly scrolling and looking for new inspiration, it's like constant. I see myself. I'm addicted to, I think I'm addicted to Torah. Like I'm addicted to, it's like crazy, I'm trying. So what happened, I'm in and I'm talking to these two other women in the course with me. And there's this one woman, she's just so beautiful and she's so calm. And she's like very, very, I could tell that like 50 years ago, she was the star student. Like she was probably she was the one who the teachers loved of the note taking, and she's like very, very, very mesuderet. So this other woman between us, she says, "Why?" She's turning to the woman. She says, "Why aren't you in this other course?" And the woman turns to her and says, "No, wait a minute. There's so much here. I need to process it. Like I don't want to. I need to process it." And I looked at her and I'm like, "You're so smart. You're so smart that you take the notes. I mean, I also take tons of notes. For me, just taking the note." But what I'm like, I myself go back and listen to a class sometimes 3 times. If it's really it was really affecting my neshama, if it's something I really feel like I need to work on. I've been doing this chazara. And I looked at this woman, I said, "You're so smart. Don't jump to another course. Don't jump to another thing that you need to take upon yourself to learn a new way, a new chiddush." It's probably, first of all, not even a chiddush, right? And also process what you are learning. And this made me think about how we really don't have any Rega, shniya, let alone sha'a, shosheket. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, Parsha Korach, because I feel like there's this like secession that happens in the Bamidbar, and we're seeing these constant stories, whether this is chronological, not chronological. Okay, it's a machloket in itself, what exactly comes when. But the point of the matter is, the way we're reading the Chumash, each week it comes, we see a succession of things. There's complaining about water. There's complaining about no meat. There's complaining about this. There's fears of entering into Eretz Yisrael because we don't have enough emunah. And then all of a sudden we see another person stands up and it says, "This is not fair." He's complaining. And I'm thinking to myself, Korach, you're a tzaddik. And he was a tzaddik. And you should just know, I was reading the Mefarshim, his wife was a tzaddikah. There are those who say that when they went down to Genam, she actually to lechabot. She covered the fire. She burnt out, or she blew out. She put out. Thank you. She put out the fire of Genom because she was shotet tzadikah. We're talking about really holy people here. We're talking about people who are the tribe of also Levi. He's coming from Yichus. We're talking about a person who was so wealthy, and Hashem obviously gave him that wealth for something. If a person has talent and skill and beauty and wealth, it's not that it was a random choice. They have a potential to do something incredible with it. So obviously there was a shlichut there. And yet I'm thinking, maybe this is just my woman's perspective of knowing my life, is that Korach, how did this happen? It's because you didn't stop and think about what just happened before. And what's going on? We see Miriam, and then we see the spies. We see each one is, we keep being told, oh, well, this happened because the other happened. Even Parsha Sotza with the Nazir, he's like, wait a minute, I need to stop and see what happened. How did this woman get secluded with another man? Take a cheshbon, a nefesh. We are about to enter into the summer. We are on the borders of, or now wherever it might even be already by the time you hear this Parsha, it's going to be Tammuz. Tammuz, Av, they're, and then Elul, and then it's like Rosh Hashanah already. Not to scare anyone, not to make time go so fast. I'm saying enjoy this moment right now that we're in. But do we realize where we're going if we don't stop? And I know you've heard this. I'm sure you've heard this before, and I've heard this before. Okay, Lana, I need to take the moment. I need to just process what am I learning, but I need to constantly be reminded to look and see what's going on. Because then we ask Hashem, why is it the same thing keeps happening? Why am I bringing this also up? It's because in Eretz Yisrael, this, Monday morning or Sunday night, was it, that we got this like announcement that all of a sudden there's no school the next day and the Ryan is attacking and we attacked, I don't know where, Beirut. I didn't even know what was going on. It was just like, wait a minute. It was so out of the blue for me personally, because I'm not in the blue. I'm not in the inyanim, as they say. I'm not looking at the news. I don't know what's going on also. Even if you're looking at the news, you really know what's going on? No, right? And all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa. I was like, okay. And then Monday morning, you wake up like 6 o'clock in the morning, you're back in the bomb shelter, and I was like, okay. But it wasn't even, I was like, word that I wasn't even fazed by it. I actually wasn't thrown off by it. I wasn't panicking about it. Oh God, the kids are home. There was nothing. I felt nothing, numb, just technical. What do I need to do right now? And that even actually scared me more, because I'm like, what? And it happened so quickly, and you're getting these texts about Chaf Gimel of, Sivan and Mordechai, and that's like these things going on. So people are thinking and processing, but I was just like, I felt a little bit numb. And then why does Hashem send us these missiles or these sirens or these things to go if like you're not paying attention? We're right about to enter Tammuz, right? We're right about Korach. This is Parsha Korach. How does a person become, when you have so much machloket and you're so unhappy with the life that you have? Because maybe you're not processing that the reason why things are happening to me is for a reason. So I better, like, this is the life that Hashem is giving me. I better take stock. This is the role He's giving me. He's not giving me the role of the Kohen HaGadol or the Nasi, the prince, or this or that. I'm given a certain role. Let me take stock and see what Hashem is telling me to do with my life. I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking to myself also that if we're about to enter Tammuz, or we are in Tammuz, and we have this idea of machloket, and how, Tammuz is the Bnei Zachabwins, it's the chodesh of vision, like how you see things. They went during the whole month of Tammuz, they're spying out Eretz Yisrael, right? Or they're either being the tourist, as I mentioned last week, or they're being the spy, right? How are you seeing your life during this month we're about to enter? And what's brought down by Rabbi Levi, who brings it down from Rabbi Nachman, is it's brought down that Chodesh Tammuz, what is this Boshet Teavot? What does this stand for? It's actually the Zman of Matan Toratenu. Oh, that's so interesting. It's the Zman Tammuz. The acronym for Zman Matan Toratenu. What Torah do we get in Tammuz? I think we got in Sivan. So the Torah that's brought down is we actually got the Luchot, right? The Luchot were given to us on Yud Zayin Tammuz. We're going to enter into that, right? But they were broken. That means this is the month that we get the broken Torah. What kind of Torah is that? What kind of brokenness of the Torah is that? What does that mean? It says it also in Masachet Yeruvim that before the Luchot were broken, there was no shechicha of Torah. No one forgot Torah. All of a sudden, I don't know how that happened, because it must have been like a moment, right? But whatever Torah they had learned before, right? And then now it's in completion. Moshe's bringing down the Luchot, and all of a sudden when he breaks it, the Gemara brings then those broken Luchot are representative to us, that when those were broken, all of a sudden we have forgetfulness in this world. Now, there's a good side to forgetfulness, actually, and there's a bad side to forgetfulness. I think this is the month where we're supposed to wake up and not forget what's going on, so that you keep going and you're just learning something new. And I'm telling you, I really am a junkie to learn new things. Okay, I really am, and it gives me excitement. And every single day, the Gemara also brings down the, like, wouldn't it be great if a woman would give birth in a day? Like she conceives, and every day there's a new birth, because then it's like a chitchatshut, right? But you know what? Hashem didn't make that process that way. It's actually a 9-month Bezat Hashem process, because we're not supposed to just be having constant chitchatshut all the time, so much so that you become addicted to it, that you're never happy, you're never satisfied, that it's not enough that I'm wealthy and that I'm a Levi and that I have my job and my role. I also want more, because I need something new. And newness is beautiful. As I mentioned, we have so much newness in our every month. I feel like there's the newness of Rosh Chodesh, it's like there's also every single with cycles. The woman is in constant state of newness. The relationships are in constant state of newness. Every year we come to Rosh Hashanah is also, and we have actually 4 different Rosh Hashanot between Tu B'Shvat, and we have also the one of the Melachim. We have different types of Rosh Hashanot. But I'm asking myself, not every day is a Rosh Hashanah, it's a Chiddush. We have to take time to take a deep breath and process what in the world is going on. And let me just litbonen katsat. Why? Maybe. Not that I know Hashem, what He's doing. We can't, we have these broken luchot that bring shechicha, but no, we actually have to remember. We have to take note. However, on the other hand, we also do have to take the Torah of being forgetfulness, which is what? It's a Torah that says, you know what? I don't have to remember all the bad things and all the nifilot, all the times I've fallen, and I don't have to remember every single time this person has done something to me in my life. That I can forget. Right? Because at the end of the day, we were carrying the Mishkan, the luchot that were broken and the ones that were whole. There are moments to be broken, yes, and to forget, and there are moments when you have to be whole, right? There are all these moments. They're both included in all this, and this is our journey in this world. And I'm reading Korach, and I'm reading what's going on, and it was very powerful to me, because also I realized that something which is such a deep message, and it's so simple, but it's so deep, and we really have to internalize it, is that I had a few things happen this week where I realized how much I was craving for appreciation, Like, I looked at myself and I did a cheshbon nefesh, and I was so upset about something, and then I went on my run, and I'm talking to Hashem, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, Elana, the reason why you're upset is because you are not getting your kavod. It really comes down to that. Korach, at the end of the day, it's like, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining? Because you feel like something is lacking in you. And I started talking to myself. I'm saying, Elana, why is your self-esteem dependent on anybody or to think about you? Why can't you have your echet tzmi dependent on you, and that you're doing the best that you can and you're avodat Hashem? It's between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's got nothing to do with anybody around you. And yet you wake up in the morning, and yet you want appreciation. What can I tell you? I was thinking this morning as I took out my second laundry that I've done already. It's like, before 8 o'clock in the morning, I've already done 2 laundries. And I'm taking out the shirts from the dryer, and I'm hanging them up for my sons. And I'm thinking to myself, they don't realize, they take for granted that this shirt is here and it's hung up. Where's my appreciation? And I was thinking, those times where you're driving and all of a sudden there's a parking spot that opens up, and you're like, thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Because it was like, okay, we don't do that every single time, that the parking spot doesn't open up and there's just a parking spot there. Or that if we don't really need the parking spot and it happens to be there. Like, how many nisim is Hashem doing for us all the time? And then I think to myself, how many miracles am I doing for my kids all the time, or my husband, or this person, or that person, or in my job, and no one recognizes me? So why am I saying this to you? Because I think we can get to a point where we're like Korach. We're angry, and we're upset, and we're not even logical. Korach was logical. He was a very logical person. He's like, okay, there's this mitzvah, it's called tzitzit. If the whole thing is telechelet, and the whole purpose is to remind me of the kisei kavod, which is the chut of techelet, why do I need it? Good questions. Like, meaning I'm logical. But sometimes we have to go beyond the logical. Hashem is telling us to do something. So get up and fold the shirts. Why do you need recognition from other people? You know that you're doing Ratzon Hashem. I know sometimes it's not enough. I know that, but I do feel that this is a self-talk that I'm teaching myself, that I have to break and forget the bad thoughts. And I have to reconstruct new ones. I have to break the patterns and the habits and the ma'asim, the things that I'm doing that are actually breaking me. And I have to do ones that are positive. Because you know what? And also, it's like at the end of the day, I thought about Korach, and I'm like, he wanted kavod. And actually, he got it. We have a Parsha named after him. But what's the kavod he gets that we remember to this day that he went down into the hole? Is that what I want? To build up so much resentment and anger in my family that when I dolesh it, I want them to say, thank you, you're doing such a good job. Thank you, mommy. Or tell my husband to tell me thank you. Or you're the best daughter, you're the best friend, you're the best neighbor, you're the best employee. I want everyone to tell me I'm wonderful. I need it also. I need it. But at the end of the day, I don't want them to get resentful and angry with me and then be screaming at me. And that's how I'm getting my kavod. It's like, I was thinking about last night. I had a child who was not in the best moods. First of all, they're not in the best mood because they're hungry, but that's a different, and you get into this, especially when they're teenage zone, and it's either a hormone or it's something that nothing to do with you, and you're just the mommy. And you're always going to be, the mommy's going to be the one who's going to get all the brunt of it. The leaders, look at Moshe Rabbeinu, look at Aaron, and I thought to myself, either I'm going to give this child Musa right now, And like, you can't talk to me this way. And I have to put them in their makom, right? Put them in their makom, put them in their place. Or I decided to just make some hamburgers at 11 o'clock at night and take out some lachmaniot from the freezer. Was it appreciated? Probably not. I tell you, it was hard. It was hard not to be resentful and angry when you have so much other food around you and you're like, why do you need me at this age also? You can figure yourself out. Just eat some cornflakes and milk. And yet, I'll tell you something. I'm still happy I did it. Let's put it that way. I didn't have to put them in the makom. I need to put myself in my makom. I need to put myself in the makom. And you know what's so beautiful? As we enter this time also of Tammuz, and we're thinking, how are we going to go through this world? Again, we're going through it like this way, we're going through it that way. I think to myself, Elana, at the end of the day, is the child going to remember that you put them in their makom, and you taught them how to talk to their mother? Or maybe, possibly, maybe not, they're going to remember that you made them hamburgers at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. Maybe they won't. And I'm not saying to bend over backwards. And I'm not saying to treat yourself like your shmatze. And I'm not saying that you don't deserve and you don't need. But I'm just saying, come on. Like, really. This is a process. We need to remind ourselves over and over. It's not so fun to hear. I know it's much better if I were to get on and say, you know what? You deserve everything. People should treat you. They should do this to you. They should appreciate you. However, what I did realize from all this is that that's actually what I should be doing. I realized if Korach maybe had been given a yashar koyach, kol kavod, you're not the Nasi, and you're not this, and you're not the Kohen Gadol, but I want you to know, Korach, you're amazing. Look at all that you're doing. You have the possibility to do nichnas arachim. You've got all this money. I don't know. If they were given a little bit, I don't know. So I thought to myself, I need to change my mind this week, because I was feeling like, why isn't anyone appreciating me? And if this is the way I'm feeling, says Baal Shem Tov, maybe I need to have an eye to start doing that to other people. I thought to myself, well, the kid doesn't want to go to yeshiva. Why? Because all he's being done, the only time he gets any recognition is if he's late. If you're late, then the mishkiach bops you on the head. But I don't know how many times, and I'm not blaming anyone, but how many times are being told, and because the mishkiach has probably got 30,000 things to be doing, but how many times do they stand there in front of the boys and say, you guys came on time, you're amazing. You showed up. You showed up. But I also don't do that. I'm telling you to brush your teeth. I'm telling you to put your clothes in the hamper. And it's so hard for me because I'm overwhelmed and exhausted. And I'm also not even telling myself when I'm doing something right. I'm beating myself up because I did this wrong. And I should have answered better. And I'm not the perfect mother. And I'm not the perfect this. And I'm not the perfect employee. And I don't have enough money. And everything. And everyone around me has such a better life than me. And everyone's doing it so much better. And I'm Korach. And I don't want to go down into the pit. Then saying, Moshe Emet v'Torah Emet. But I'm going to tell you something also, two things that I see in this Parsha that were a little bit scary to me, is again, we have that Moshe, he hears these things, and he hears this, and he falls on his face. Now, I'm just taking as a mommy, Elana, as a woman, as a wife, as a daughter, I'm telling you, when I fall, I'm a leader, I'm put in a position, and the person is again rebelling against me, again complaining about me, again doing something to me, and I just fall on my face. Moshe was not the one who entered into Eretz Yisrael with Am Yisrael. If I keep telling myself I can't deal with this, and again, as I mentioned last week, that the giants are nefilot, our falls become giants, I'm not going to be the one to see. We have to remember something so powerful that I heard yesterday as a mashal from Moshe Boyer. He says, imagine someone is on a boat, you're on a ship. Now you obviously have a destination. I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to add something to what he said. I'm going to embellish it a little bit. He says, but the idea is like this. Not my idea, but you're on this boat and you're going somewhere. And all of a sudden, because you're on a boat, you start to get seasick. Now, maybe you put one of those bracelets. I don't know. There's acupressure points also. There's this, maybe you're putting your feet up. Maybe you're drinking. But the point of the matter is that you feel completely and totally nauseous. Let's forget about a ship. Let's say you're a woman who's maybe expecting also. And what's the person doing? They're running on the boat, maybe to a psychologist, or they're running to a doctor, a gastro. They're running here, they're running there, and they're saying, I'm so sick. And the psychologist is saying, well, maybe it's because you're emotionally, detached, you've had trauma, and if you would just sway a little bit like this and ground yourself, and I don't know. And then they're going to the gastro, they're saying, well, maybe it's this problem. And everyone's telling you all this advice and all these problems, and you're running from one person to the next person, and then all of a sudden, what you're not hearing is a Torah is telling you, you're on a boat. You're on a ship. This is a lomazeh. You will feel nauseous. But get what? You know what? There's a destination. You're going to get off the boat. It's a short ride, you guys. It's a short ride. Can we just hold on and realize that part of life, alomazeh, is being on a boat where I feel nauseous and I'm throwing up and there's sarot. However, when I can look up and I see the gorgeous sunset or the gorgeous sunrise on this boat, and I see the beautiful water, with all my nausea, I might feel a little bit better. I might appreciate that this boat is getting me somewhere that's amazing. When I think about the destination, and I think that maybe I met really cool passengers along the way, and look how nice the captain is worried about me, and that person I just talked to, right? Or, oh, this is great food. I don't know, maybe it's one of those cruise ships. It's got good food on it. It's got entertainment. Wow, there's even a pool. There's even hours for women and for men. And you're still nauseous though, because you're on a ship. And it's like, a lot of times people tell me a reality. I'm like, I can't take away your reality. You're looking for a perfect world and a perfect answer. That's not here, sweetie pie. I have to remember myself that also. It means like having kids is gidul. It's sar. It says in the Torah, but having two people come into this world and come together, shalom bayit, is going to be an avoda. Dealing with your physical body and emotional and a mental and all these things that happen in our lives are hard. You're on the ship though that Hashem put you on to get to your destination. And we have to keep really focused of that. So Korach also saw in the future, he's like, I'm going to have descendants like Shmuel. Shmuel is more than Moshe and Aaron. And it's like, I already want to be there. But Hashem's saying, Korach, there's a process to get there. Maybe you're only going to have Shmuel because you had to go through a couple of nefilot in your life. But don't fall. Look up. Look at your destination. Look at the sunset. Look at the sunrise. Hashem made the journey also quite beautiful in the process of it. He wants us to take the luchot, which are broken, and he does expect us not to forget the beauty of the Torah, but to, and not to forget the lessons that he's teaching us, but to forget a little bit, get up and keep going, and don't always remember and hold on to those things, and just get up. Like, get up. So then I'm seeing something very powerful the Orach Chaim HaKadosh brings. Also, this whole thing is happening. Moshe is telling Aaron what's going on. Vaydiber al Korach ve'al korei dato. Moshe comes and he speaks to Korach. It's such an important lesson. And he says, Boker v'yoda et Hashem. In the morning, we're going to find out what's going on. Like, he brings this idea of Boker. Okay, mind you, Boker is also the word of Akir, means to visit, right? Boker is, we have Bikur Cholim, for example, you're visiting the sick. A Bikoret is also an investigation. We're going to investigate tomorrow in the morning. And Boker is when you take the kever, which is the grave, and you change the letters and you get it a Boker. Meaning sometimes we have to bury ourselves in order to come and arise at a Boker. But what does he brings in the Orach Chaim? Moshe Rabbeinu zecher et Korach, the korei dato, Boker, right? He's telling him in the morning, we're going to find out. Lo achshav, machar, beboker. And why is he saying this? He's telling us that he wanted to give him time to do tshuva and to lead bonen b'ma'asehem. He wanted to give Korach some time to think about, why am I doing this? And there were two women in this Parsha in the back, okay, according to the Midrash. You have the wife of Korach, who's going down with him, and you have another wife, and a second wife says to her husband, go to sleep. Like, what are you getting involved in this for? It's not your makom. This is not your place. You're looking for somebody else's place. Even sometimes our place is not to be that right now in that situation. She says, go to sleep. And she takes care of it. It's not that this is like all good and this is all bad. But the message of Moshe, the message of this tzadikah is telling us, is sometimes when you're in this, when you're getting frustrated and you're looking for your kavod and you want your appreciation, what do? I'm telling you, just go to sleep. It means litbonen katzat. Just sleep on it. Like, what? Don't say anything right now. Could I learn? Maybe there's a reason why I'm going through this. It's a process, right? Everything is a process to get me where I am now and where I will be, beti lavo, right? I have to be on this barco, as they say in Spanish. I have to be on the ship, right? I have to be on the ship. Why? Because I'm getting somewhere. But if I don't think about where I'm going, I just keep learning one more class and take one more share and do one more exercise, like ba 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 ba, and I'm not processing. This week for me was the one that shook me up. I said the zman of is coming, like the zman of summer for me, kites, which is right before Shana, is coming. Elana, stop v'litbonen katzat. Number one. Number two, stop looking for your kavod. I really see it. I'm like, I can't believe it. I didn't think I was an arrogant person, but I'm mamish all the time. I want appreciation. I'm human. It's so hard to go day after day after day, and you put in so much. Sometimes I'm so tired. I'm like, no one appreciates me. No one appreciates me. I think about the mommy who's holding her baby and she's up all night long. I think about the one who's calling the parents and looking after. No one knows that you're looking after your parent. I think about, the one who's reaching out to that no one knows about, that she's reaching out to that neighbor, And of course, there's so many people that no one's taking care of them because we're all so busy taking care of everybody. And no one knows. No one knows really what's going on. What godless that people don't know what other people are doing for them. My children never know what I do. And I, even as a mother, will never know what my mother has done for me, my father's done for me. I could never know because I don't know what goes behind, I never know what my husband does for me. I never know what this person is doing for me. I don't even know. Maybe someone's davening for me that I didn't even know, and I didn't even know it. Do you know how many people I've davened for? They don't know it. I'll get a message. I don't even know the person either. That means I'm doing something and I don't get any appreciation. Am I going to look after my kavod? And I'm telling you, the more I see I look at, the more I go down into that. It's pi adama. It's the mouth of the adama, which for me means I go into the negativity. It's either I'm saying the negativity or I'm thinking the negativity, and I'm just going down into adama, into the earth. I'm building my kever, and I need to have a boker. I need to have a new morning. I need to have a levakeret zekatzat gam, to visit it, to think about it, to change it. I need to go to sleep. I'm telling you, just go to sleep. When these things are too much for us, you just got to go to sleep. Either also put the thought to sleep, literally. Like if you can't physically go to sleep, which I really think probably 80% of my complaints are because I just don't sleep enough, probably. It's coming. And the same thing with my whole entire people around me, that most people are just too physically exhausted for one way or another. But we're emotionally spent also, and put that to sleep. Like put the thoughts to sleep. Put the worrying to sleep. Got to put it to sleep. And we have to realize this is man matan. Torateno is coming, Tammuz. Right? We have to realize this. We're about to receive the Torah, and we're also going to receive a broken Torah in this month. But the broken Torah is to be used in order to break those bad habits, to break the bad thoughts, and to create new ones. So here's an advice that just these 4 sentences, and we can tell ourselves. 1, we can ask ourselves, Ani tzarich lafsik lachshov. For example, what do I need to do in order to stop thinking? I'm talking about the bad thoughts. What things do I need to break or forget in order to stop the repetitive thinking of this is pulling me down into the earth? Okay? They don't appreciate me. They don't like me. Or even just the insecurities. I'm not good enough. Or how could it be that my kids could be like that? Or this is so embarrassing. Or this is so terrible. I have a whole group of friends that are going to the pool. And I was like, I can't go to the pool because I'm working so much all the time. I can't stop. That's not true. I could. I just, my priorities right now, at that time, I can't do it. I have to change my thinking. I could do if I want to, also, number 1. And who's to say that maybe I don't need that? But I realize how much I need something. Like I realize I don't stop. We talk about self-care. Self-care, for me, it can't be that I'm going to go 2 hours to the pool. Even though that is a great self-care with friends. Wow. But self-care for me has to be where I have to stop the thinking. Because I'm not taking care of myself by constantly putting myself down or berating everyone around me. How often do I tell my children that they're just amazing, that they're doing great for just brushing their teeth? I don't know. Today I was like, and I'm on this thought process, so I'm talking about, you brushed your teeth, you're awesome. Yes, you're awesome. What? They're going to become spoiled. They're going to think that this is what's their expectations? Aren't they supposed to be mensches, human beings? No, we're not holding there anymore. We have to be constantly building up everyone around us and ourselves. We don't want to create Korach where everyone feels lack of appreciation. I'm telling you, I don't think we could overdo appreciating a person. Right? And I realize it's such a midah keneged midah, because when we complain to Hashem is when he starts complaining about us. When Moshe says, you're Rachum, V'chanun, Erech Apayim, he says, Hashem, look how you are so patient and kind. All of a sudden Hashem says, okay, I'm going to lisloch et ha'am hazoti. Hashem does us mida k'neged mida. The more we love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He loves us all the time, indefinitely. And also, He's also patient and kind. But the way He acts in this world is one of mida k'neged mida. That the more I'm feeling love towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the more He will show me His attribute of love towards me. The more I'm saying, I want to see hashgacha practice, I want to see appreciation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to be able to stop and process what you're teaching me over and over and all these things. The more He's going to show it to me. The more you realize that even in this ship where I'm feeling nauseous and I'm throwing up and no one has a solution for just get me off the ship, right? But the more I'm thinking about the destination, and you know what's so crazy to me is how a person can not feel well physically and they can be distracted and all of a sudden it's okay. How many times do you see a child fall on the floor, have a boomba, and the reaction of the boomba is going to be different based on how you respond to the boomba? Right? It's either going to be a screaming, crying reaction. It's going to be even maybe a laughing reaction. It's going to be a no pasa nada, lo krum, nothing happened reaction. So how is that possible if I have physical pain and something happened to me? My reaction is going to be different because it's whether I'm looking up and seeing the sunset while I'm on the ship that I'm still not feeling good. But look at all these other things around me. So number one, I need to stop thinking. What can I do to stop thinking? Also, like really, what can I do to stop thinking? Because what's my second thing? Because we broke the luchot and then we got new ones that were shalem actually. And that one's, yes, okay, they weren't the first ones. They weren't written by Kadosh Baruch Hu. The second ones were written by Moshe. But what's the second one that's written by Moshe, written by man? Is then I need to start thinking new and whole thoughts. I need to create shalom. Not machloket where there's one here and one there and a chelik there and a chelik there and all these pieces and look what's wrong with it. I need to be shleimut in my life that I'm given. This is my journey. This is my ship. Can I just be shleimut in this? I wasn't chosen as the Kohen Gadol. That's hard for me. I can acknowledge it. I can process it. I can and we have to. I was realizing also, we have so much of this that people are, on the one hand, you're being told you must recognize emotions. You need to process them and you need to recognize them. If someone comes to you and they're sad, don't brush it off. But the problem is sometimes people come to us and we tell them how they're feeling. Or we put expressions on our faces that will then make them feel something differently. So let them process. And then, listen to them and validate the feeling. But don't give it to them. Does that make sense? Also don't give it to ourselves. I'm feeling this moment right now. Can I process that and think about why am I feeling this? What if I thought it in a different situation? What if I start reminding myself that the way the child's talking is because they're hungry and they're tired? It doesn't excuse the behavior, but can I process it differently that I'm not so emotionally? Can I just make the hamburgers? Right? I'm telling you, it changes. I still think in my head, wait, what's this going to be like when they're married? They can't do this. But it's not the right time to talk about it and give them musar. I just have to show them that, when you're married, you mevater and you make your child hamburgers. What message am I giving my child? So lishbor, lafsik, stop the thoughts, break them. Then start new ones. Also the same thing with the actions. What am I doing? What do I need to do now in order to stop this action that is pulling me down? That is making me feel bad, negative, or towards everybody else. I have an action where I pick out the negativity. My eye spots it. Sometimes I was having a conversation with somebody and I realized every time I talk to them, the only reason why I talk to them is because they're telling me something negative. It's not even about me. It's just a negative comment. I'm like, do I do that? Do I do that? I have to stop it. I might do that. I might be doing that. I realize, wow, maybe to my coworkers, I only reach out to them and I'm asking for mechila. Maybe to my children, I only reach out to them. Maybe to my whoever around me, my husband, I'm only reaching out to you and talking to you when you are doing something that bothers me. I'm mamash asking for mechila right now. I don't want that. I need to break it and I need to do something new. New habit, right? Because we're on this boat and I'm telling you, I'm excited for the destination. And I just keep focused on that. And I realized, wow, Korach, thank you for teaching me to stop chasing after what Pirkei Avot says, my kavod. Because a person who chases after kavod will not have kavod. And I realized, what is kavod? Kavod means makom, it's a place. If I'm constantly trying to chase, I want someone to give me my place, I will never have my place. And yet if I'm happy with where I am right now, and I give myself place, and I'm giving other people their place, I'm mechubed otam, then guess what happens? We have the Beis Hamikdash, which is the most beautiful thought that's brought down by Rabbi Natan. Is the Beis Hamikdash was the place where everyone had a makom. We know this. You would bow and everyone would have a makom. The ideal meaning, what is Beis Hamikdash for us? It means bringing in the Geula is a sensation of everybody has their makom, and I know I have mine. It's I have my connection. I don't need anybody else's connection. I'm not trying to fight it and look for it and you know, this is what I need to be right now. This is it. Such a beautiful concept. It's really such a beautiful concept. We should be zoche to, everyone should feel that their cup is full and realize how much I'll tell you how much I appreciate you. Really, how much I appreciate the process, the journey, the trying, the listening, the working. I really feel like we are a door, Dafka. I feel like we're a generation that is so trying to work and make things better. You know, as much as there's all this craziness that's happening and everyone could tell you, okay, it's this craziness that's been happening for the past 2 years, we've been galus. I really see this, we're such a people that want so much, even maybe too much, you know? And at the same time, we need to remember that so that we're not focused on the complaining and being brought down, and we're trying so hard to fix things that we find so many problems. I'm not saying to brush anything under the carpet, but we also don't have to feel like we have to fix everything, because not everything is a problem. Not everything has a solution. You are on a boat. You will feel nauseous. It's okay. We don't have to fix everything. We can give it over to Hashem. Right? He knows. He put us here. He knows where we're going. Stay focused on the journey. It's not easy. Really. Mamash, it's not easy. But I'm going to challenge us this week to like really appreciate everybody around you and to take a moment. It's a little bit of, you know, closing the eyes. And I say realistically for 1 minute, but like do a challenge with yourself for 1 to 5 minutes a day where you're just processing what just happened to me and why. Chalavai. No, halavai, we make this like a real habit. Brush your teeth is a habit. So also processing for 5 minutes should be a habit of hitbodedut. What's going on with me and why? I'm not going to repeat the same thing if I stop and think about it, but I will repeat it automatically if I don't. B'ezrat Hashem. Shabbat shalom.